the end of the second week. I hope you are settled with your classes, that you added or dropped whatever you needed to. You'll have until tomorrow, though, right? And if you have any questions about this class, in order to make a proper decision whether to stay or not, let me know, okay? The plan for today is simple. We'll first continue with the discussion that we briefly undertook on Tuesday about the future of the automobile. You have one of the modules, one of the readings prepared by me, talks about this after offering an overview about the history of the technology through the decades. This module includes also some videos, a lot of links. Those are not required, of course, but they're there to satisfy your curiosity. After our discussion and reflection, I'll distribute the participation journal to collect some of your reflections. I will introduce briefly the scenes from The Love Bag, the film from 1968 with Herbie. And this will be the end for this film. We'll move to something else next week. And there too, I would like to hear your comments. So I will circulate the proper participation form where you can put your name, last and first, so that I can sort them out. And I'm going to ask you to reserve the first page for the first discussion and reflection about the future of the automobile, and the back for the film. Again, for the film, you don't need to write a lot of comments or describe the scenes that you're seeing on the screen. Try to focus your attention on themes and situations and details related to the representation of the automobile in the film, and more importantly, the interaction, the transformative interaction of the user with the automobile. So just take one, there are plenty, probably more than we need, so if there are any extras, you can return them. And the first thing I'm going to ask you is to write a few remarks, comments, reflections about the future of the automobile, so that I have that, and then some of you can share their ideas and we can develop a discussion with your contribution and my response and my integration of that. So I'll give you 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on how long you might need, no more than 10. And then we'll proceed with the discussion. When we think in this context about the future of the automobile, as I suggested on Tuesday, there are two directions where you should send your reflection. One is, of course, first of all, as I said in class on Tuesday, the future of the automobile for us is 2025 to 2050. So the next 25 years. We're not talking about science fiction futures. Directions where you should orient your reflections are: how will the use of the automobile change, in your opinion, right? Just as a user of this technology, and just based on your experience of this particular society, how will the use of the automobile change in the next 25 years? And the second area of reflection is, how will the technology itself change in terms of design, if you want, in terms of functionality? Will there be additional features? In class, people suggested more advanced sensors, self-parking, self-driving, And you can be creative, you can be imaginative. Again, you're not being tested as scholars or professional experts of the automotive market. It's just to develop our discussion and our reflection on this, right? So it's understood, it's agreed that this is based on your personal views, your personal reflections, right? There is no right or wrong, it's not a quiz, it's not a test. It's just so that we can focus our attention on the focal point of this class. Okay, so you have between 5 and 10 minutes. You tell me if less is sufficient. Write down some reflections, some ideas, and then we'll proceed. Yes, please.
I missed the first part of what you said about the reflection.
Oh, the first part is the use of the automobile. How will the use of this technology change during the next 25 years? Will it be used differently? And use includes also the idea of property ownership, right? We had an activity in class with questions, with a survey from the International Federation of the Automobile, showing how fewer people in the younger segment of the population plan to purchase an automobile, fewer people have a driver's license, etc. So, one prong of this discussion is how will the use of the automobile change, and how will the automobile itself change in terms of design and functions. Energy sources, if you will, there too. You can use your imagination and whatever knowledge. I'm looking forward to reading your comments, but hold on to your pages because I want to add something about the film. In case you missed last week's scenes, we're in San Francisco in the 1960s. The protagonist is Jim Douglas, who's failing as a race car driver through a series of accidents, random episodes. He is forced to purchase a small Volkswagen Beetle that is in fact some kind of sentient creature. But Jim doesn't know that, and Jim will be the last to find out. So the core theme of the film, and what I want you to focus your attention with the comments, is the relationship between the user, Jim, the other people who interact with Herbie, the vehicle, and the vehicle itself, and how transformative that experience becomes. Transformative in several ways. Of course, Jim will become, as we will see now, a successful race car driver, because of course he has this magical vehicle, but it will be a transformative experience also morally and psychologically. Jim will slowly change. He will first become aware of his own limitation as a man, as a human. It's not just a failed race car driver at the beginning of the film. He's also an incomplete male American adult, and therefore not ready for family, not ready for a long-term relationship, as he will be by the end of the film, thanks to the vehicle. There is also this underlying theme that the more we interact with technological products and we attach our emotions to them, which is very true even today, and the more those technologies reflect our emotional world. In this case, they're reflected in a very physical sense because as Tennessee, the friend of Jim, will say, we end up transferring our own vitality into the technology, and therefore we have sentient vehicles. But we could say the same for anything driven by artificial intelligence with which we interact. You know how people are asking for psychological support, help with relationships. I don't know if you do that, but if you don't do it daily, you might have experimented with that. So there is a way to see this as relating to contemporary issues. Again, don't feel the need to write a lot. Just try to write smart comments. If there are some significant small details in the story that you want to transfer onto your page, that's fine, but no need to describe what you're seeing.